Now, for the purpose of this review, I'm not going to be using the great little keyboard that comes with the Surface, so we're going to be looking at it just as a tablet. First thing to do with your Surface is to go to the store, and you just do a search under Kindle, and at the Windows Store you'll see the Kindle app shows up. I've already got it installed on this, but you tap on that and go through an installation process and you'll be good to go. And then at that point, the Kindle app will show up on your Start menu. The first thing I'm going to talk about are things which you can do reading Kindle content on all three of these devices. Now I've got the Surface here on the left, and then in the middle is the iPad, and then the Kindle Fire is over there on the right. For the Surface and the iPad, there are Kindle apps that are provided free, and once you load the app onto them, you'll pull up your archive from the Kindle archive that you've established at Amazon, and all your books will be there. Fire, it's slightly different because there's no app, but what you do is from the home screen, you simply tap on Books, and that'll take you to a view of all of your books. From here you can tap on a book. I'm tapping on the Kindle Fire and the book appears. I've got War and Peace on all three of these devices. So now if I go to War and Peace on the iPad, it comes up with a similar look, and on the Surface the same thing. So we've got, now you're seeing the Surface taking quite a bit longer to load, and that's, the Surface is just a little bit slower device. In each of the three devices here, you have ways to adjust the font and the way it looks to read. Up here on the Surface, there's something called View. I'm going to tap on that, and you'll see 5 fonts available, and the largest one is pretty good sized. You hit Apply, and you're at the largest font. The iPad, surprisingly, has more font choices than the Kindle app, and so you can go, there are 15 different font sizes on the iPad, and on the Kindle Fire you've got 11. It's a, let's see, go to settings there, and if you go all the way up here, you're at 11. Similar size for the largest on all of them, so if you've got difficulty reading, you're going to probably be able to find a good size type on either one of these. You can do notes and highlights on all three, and similar action but not quite the same. I find it a little trickier to make a highlight on the Surface. You hold, and then these little handles show up, and then you have to navigate the handles to get to where you want to go, and that doesn't always turn out as easily as it is on the other devices. But once you've got your where you want to highlight, you just tap on Highlight, and then it turns yellow. The iPad actually has the nicest highlighting because it starts highlighting as soon as you start. As you tap and hold, you're just making the highlight right there immediately without having to tap on Highlight. And on the Fire, it's a similar thing. You start the highlight, you drag, but then you do type Highlight at the end of it. You can do notes on all three. There is an advantage in how you fetch the notes. In all of these cases, your notes will show up at kindle.amazon.com on the web, so that's very handy. But if you want to see your notes on the device itself, on the Surface, you tap on Notes Marks. Here's another noticeable delay that you're seeing, about 5 seconds I think I've timed this to be to get the notes to come up. It's a long list of the notes that I've and highlights I've made in this book. Kind of small type, a little bit difficult to see. It's even worse on the iPad. If you go to My Notes and Marks, you just get that small a window. You can't make that window any larger. You can scroll up and down it, but it's kind of a difficult way to see your notes. Not surprisingly, on the Fire, the Kindle device, you can see your notes in a way that's a lot easier. Here they all show up, and they're color-coded notes versus highlights, and a pretty full list. You can look up words on all three of these devices, and actually the Surface has a bit of an advantage in looking up the words. I'll show you what I mean. If you tap and hold on the word sorrow, it brings up a definition of the word sorrow, but there's also a little audio icon, and if you tap it, it will pronounce the word. Sorrow. And that's because it's coming from the dictionary.com dictionary, and if you tap on the link to that, you'll get the full definition at dictionary.com. It's different on the iPad and the Kindle Fire. You've got they both go to the New Oxford American Dictionary, and if we tap on a word like horse on the iPad, the definition comes up there at the bottom of the page, and if you tap on the full definition, it'll go to the definition in the dictionary, and same over here on the Fire. If I tap on villages, I get the dictionary definition, and I tap here for the full dictionary. I want to talk now about some things which you can do on the iPad Kindle app and on the Kindle Fire itself, which you can't do on the Surface. And the first of these is called X-ray. For books that have this feature activated, you'll see a little icon on the iPad that says X-ray, and it pulls up kind of a look at the bones of the book, and by characters and topics, and you get sort of a little graph here that shows how often a character or a term is mentioned, and then you can move into the book using these little bar graphs. So it's pretty handy. And you get a similar X-ray view on the Kindle Fire. It looks slightly different, but it's the same general principle here. You've got kind of a dark screen, but it's the same thing with bar graphs with various terms and characters identified and where they appear. Another important distinction between the Surface and the iPad and the Kindle Fire is Kindle subscriptions, because if you subscribe to a newspaper or magazine that uses the Kindle format, and this would be like Financial Times, New York Times, not the Condé Nast publications like the New Yorker, but you have ways to see these publications on both the iPad and the Kindle Fire. On the iPad, having gone into the Kindle app, you touch the newsstand tab, and then since I subscribe to the Financial Times, you'll see that if I tap there, I can pull up different issues and download them to the device. And in this case, I've got it already set up, so I can read the Financial Times. And it's good because you get all of the benefits of using the dictionary and other features of being able to use the Kindle interface. On the Fire, the way you do it is just touch Newsstand, and then from Newsstand you touch the publication that you're after, and you can open any particular issue that you've got, and you'll see it there. It's downloading. So now I'll tap to open it, and you've got a good indexing way to get to specific articles, and then tap on any article that you want and make all the other changes. So that if you do depend on subscriptions in your Kindle content, that's a good reason to go with either the iPad or the Kindle Fire. Sharing to Twitter and Facebook there are more things which you can do with the Kindle Fire and the iPad that you can't do with the Surface. Little different ways of doing it on those two devices, but essentially quite similar. Now I'm going to go to features which are only available on the Kindle Fire, not on the iPad or the Surface. And the first of these is text-to-speech. So here I've got War and Peace up here now, and if I touch this...
For the last 3 days, Bagut drove a handling between the two hostile armies, so that it was as easy for the Russian rear guard to get to it as for the French vanguard.
Another thing which is an advantage on the Kindle Fire is that if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can go, you get essentially a free borrowing each month on something called the Kindle Owners Lending Library. And if you open up this, there are, I think, 240,000 books that you can choose from. A lot of them self-published, not all of them ones that you'll be excited about, but there's quite a few New York Times bestsellers, and that's something which, there's an advantage of that. If you can find books you want, you don't have to pay for them, and there's no due dates. You can read them as long as you like. Another advantage recently announced is, again, for Prime membership, for $2.99 a month per child, you can get Kindle Free Time Unlimited, which is an interface which has a lot of great stuff for kids. I'm going to talk now a little bit about aesthetics, and that goes to size. You'll see here that the Surface is taller than the iPad. It's like 1.25 inches longer. You can see how it sticks out over there. and also it's taller than the Kindle Fire here with the cases. The Fire is narrower than the iPad. The effect this has in my experience is that when you're holding it like this, the top tends to just kind of be pulling you down, and it feels like an awkward size to be reading with compared with either the Kindle Fire or the iPad. So in terms of weight, since you're not going to be using a cover with your Surface, you're just using the case itself, that's about 4 ounces less in weight than both the iPad with its most popular cover and the Kindle Fire with its most popular cover. I want to point out that you can also read ebooks outside the Kindle store on the Surface. You can download the Nook application and the Kobo application. So let's take a look at the Nook, which I've downloaded from the store. And it, as the Kindle app does, it keeps the books that you've bought available on a library for reading, and you can open them up and do things in a similar way to what you have in the Kindle, although not with as many features for reading. And you can do the same thing with the Kobo app. Let's see, there's my Kobo app there, and it opens up and it shows me the books that I've purchased from the Kobo store. There is no app for the Sony Reader that I could find at the Windows Store, but there is one for the iPad. So if you have a Sony Reader, you can read that on the, it's just called Reader here, and that pulls up a book which I bought for the Sony Reader platform. And there's also the Kobo app and the Kindle app and the Nook app for the iPad. Now the Kindle Fire does allow third-party applications, so there's a way to get, you can't get them at the Kindle store, but if you download an app called GetJar, it enables you to find the Nook app and the Kobo app, which I've downloaded, and they work just fine on my, I think I've got them in my favorites. So there's the Kobo app on my Kindle, and then I've also got the Nook app. So these tablet devices give you different, you're not confined to just one ebook store, and that makes it fairly handy. So to conclude, I think that if you have a reason to get a Microsoft Surface, and there are a lot of fine things about it, I really do like that cover that serves as a keyboard as well. You will be able to read your Kindle books if you have a collection in the Kindle archive, with some limitations that I have pointed out. Now, the thing which is a big differentiator between these three devices, of course, is price. I price them all at 32 gigabytes of storage, and the Surface here with the cover, which I think is going to be the most popular, the $119 color cover. So that's a total of $618. And the iPad that I showed you was also 32 gigabytes, and it's the Retina display. With its most common cover, it's $638. So those are both over $600. And the Kindle Fire with a nice leather cover that costs $55. It's $299 plus the cover, so it's $354. So that's the kind of advantage that you'd expect, given that Amazon is selling these things at basically a break even. But as I say, I'm quite an Apple fan, and obviously a Kindle and Amazon fan, but I really have been impressed by this Microsoft Surface. Some of the other things I haven't talked about, how clean the design is. I think I'm becoming sort of someone who doesn't really like this skew-morph idea that digital stuff has to be made up from real things like the calendars on the Apple. This is a very clean, sort of a fresh layout of Windows 8, and just the way things move around from the side of the screen, and you switch back from one app to the other by going from the left side of the screen. Pretty nice operating system, and I've had a lot of fun using it. So I hope this focus on the Surface as a reading device is helpful to you. If you haven't had a chance to hear my weekly podcast, The Kindle Chronicles, I hope you'll check it out. It's at the iTunes Store and also at thekindlechronicles.com.